welcome to Lure Painting Live. My name is Krista. I'm the painter behind Colorado Custom Lures, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to do a bull shad. Ooh, that's great. We're going to do a bull shad wake shad. Bull shad wake shad. Don't say that too many times fast. You might get stuck. All right, so I had a local Coloradan give me some baits to paint, and one of them is a bull shed wake shed, and he wanted a bluegill pattern on. So we are going to do that. So I hope you guys enjoy some of these nicer baits that I've been doing lately. I've been getting a lot of people sending me things to paint, which is great. I love it. And so I'm finishing up most of what I have currently. Hang on while I pull up. I'm going to pull up the feed on my screen here so I can see everybody's comments, and then I'll post the I will also post a discount code for tonight. I'm going to do 15% off tonight. Anything that's in stock on my website with the code LIVE15 in all capital letters, one word, you'll get 15% off anything that's in stock. Clearance items are already 40% off on my website right now, so that won't be an additional 40% off those, just 40% off clearance, and then 15% off all regular price stuff. So let me get on here and I will post that so that you guys know you can reference it. Hi, Ross. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. If you can hear a lot of noise in the background, let me know and I'll make it stop. It's Chris. He's buffing the boat. He's kind of like one of those super crazy anal retentive people about the boat. So he's out buffing and it's loud. But you might not be able to hear it. I don't know. Sometimes my mic on YouTube should filter out background noise pretty well, but I don't know if my phone will. So hang tight. All right, so I've got this primed right now with Bulldog Adhesion Promoter, and this, it's meant to make paint stick, and let me find where it says on here exactly. So you want to dry it for like 10 to 15 minutes before you put any kind of primer over it, because what will happen if you don't is you'll get like a little fine cracks. So just make sure you let it dry properly, and then go ahead and prime over it, and it'll help your paint stick a little bit. If you're using water-based paint, you can also use Stynylrez primer. I'll show you the bottle of it. Some people have asked me in comments, but I always show this on every show. It's called Stynylrez with a Y. So STYNLREZ. And it's by Badger Airbrush. You can get it at USA Airbrush Supply. I'm not sure where else, honestly, but it's a really good primer for plastic if you're using water-based paint. And it'll help if you get your, clear coat gets compromised and water gets in. With water-based paints, there's going to be a tendency for your whole paint job and clear coat to kind of peel off. That will help prevent that peeling. Or you can use something really toxic like Bulldog Adhesion Promoter, which is similar to the stuff they use in the auto industry to help prime cars. There was like a Sherwin-Williams. I found out about this from my husband's coworker who painted cars for like when they do repairs. He would repaint bumpers and stuff like that. And they would use something real similar to Bulldog when they were repainting things. So it's a well-known product in the automotive industry. That being said, very toxic. So be sure to wear a respirator and have adequate ventilation. If you don't, stick with something like Stynylrez and your water-based paints. It's choppy. Do we have like movies and everything on, Chris?
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do much about the connection. Oh, it won't let me paste. Oh, poop. Okay. So I did something bad. You'll have to look at the description to get the code for the discount. It's at the top of the comments. Your lures, they're looking good. They're not quite done, but they're almost done. So sorry if it's choppy. I can't control, unfortunately, my internet. We have satellite internet, and sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it gets choppy. I think he's going to try and make sure that if no one's watching the TV, they turn it off so we're not doing too many devices. Chris Roth is sending me a glide. Do I have any reference pictures of brook trouts? I will. Why don't you PM me, Chris? And I will. I think. I don't know if I have a saved brook trout photo. I can show you my brown trout though, and I'm pretty sure that. And I've done a tiger, and I've done a rainbow, and I'm 100% confident I can pull off a brook trout. Usually, if you just send me a reference photo, I can get really pretty darn close. I'm pretty confident. So, and if you don't like it, you guys, if you don't like how if I paint you something, a glide or whatever, and you're like wishing it looked a little different, tell me, okay? Because I'll fix it. I won't be offended. I don't get offended. I want everybody who I paint for to be satisfied. So if it doesn't quite fit the bill of what you thought it was going to look like, then just tell me. So Chris Johnson is watching. He knows what I'm talking about. I did the one that I posted today was for him. And he wanted a few changes after I painted it, and it came out great. So I made the changes, and he loves it. So please, please, please tell me. All right, we're gonna move on here. I'm gonna do some. First, I'm gonna do a little bit of black across the high sides, and then also like the middle. And then I'm gonna put some some texture first, and then some scaling on. And I'm going to wrap the bait. With these, you can't really just sandwich them in between two. I usually will use like 2 cross-stitch looms and just sandwich my bait in between, but you can't really do that with big glide bait. So I just wrap them, and that's what most people who paint big swim and glide baits do, is they just wrap them. And you have to wrap them tight, otherwise your scales won't show up right. So it is a little more time consuming with big baits than it is with your crankbaits and whatnot. So it's kind of like frustrating. It doesn't really get any easier either, unfortunately. I don't think it does anyway. Okay, so I've got that. All I need is just a light, a little darker on this side, and then just kind of light in the middle. And that way the scales are lighter on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to leave this black. I don't know, I think I'm going to use it soon enough again that I can just leave it, but actually I need to do some texture spots. So I'm just going to take out a texture stencil. I have a bunch of different ones. You guys have seen them all throughout the videos. This one is, I think it's called Splotchy by Anarchy Models. It needs to be cleaned. It's kind of got some buildup on it. You can kind of tell that the holes are getting smaller. So I need to soak this in thinner. If you're using water-based paints, you can soak these in rubbing alcohol, and they'll come clean with a toothbrush or something. Otherwise, if I'm using like what am I trying to say here? Solvent-based products, then you'll need lacquer thinner or whatever, and they don't disintegrate with solvents like that. They're pretty durable. So yes, so clean away, and they last forever. I can probably cut something like this with my Cricut. I've actually got a Silhouette Cameo, but the Cricut is the same thing basically. It's just a different brand. I can cut stencil like this probably, but these are thicker and they last longer. So I bought them probably before I was very good at cutting stencil material. I used to cut mostly cardstock because I had a hard time. I got to get a deep cut blade. Some people can get stencil material to work on a Cricut without a deep cut blade, but I found it kind of frustrating. So I just went and got a deep cut blade, and I ruined a couple mats in the process, cutting through them probably, but that's all right. I figured it out. So you can cut most anything with a Cricut if you get your settings right. But a lot of these stencil manufacturers, they have laser cutters and stuff, so they can do this really super fine detail on this really, really thick Mylar, and it comes out perfect, and then they last forever. So it is worth the money. Insane Custom Stencils, Whitmore Farms, or Anarchy Models all have good flat stencils. All right, so I put some, okay, that'll show through just a little bit after we do the scaling. I'm gonna wrap it. So we're gonna wrap this in, I was debating back and forth about using small scale material or large scale material, and I'm not sure what I want to do. This is the smaller holes, okay? And then I have the bigger ones that I think it's right here. And then this is the bigger scale material. And I'm on the fence. What do y'all think? I should probably use the bigger one, huh? It's much harder to wrap in the bigger one. So I'm secretly wishing that you'll say small, but in my heart, I know the answer. So what do you guys think? Snow and ice for 3 weeks. Yes, not good. It has been cold here too. Yeah, Chris had to cancel the first tournament for the year here too because we have quite a bit of ice still on the reservoir. So you never know from year to year if you're going to be able to pull off March tournaments or not. Some years you can, and some you can't. And we've gotten later cold weather. We didn't have much cold weather all winter up until recently. We got a bunch. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the big. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Arthur. Best place to get paints. Probably spraygunner.com. That they have kind of most things. So that would be my. If you want a one-stop shop, that's where I would go. Is spraygunner.com. All right, so all I'm doing is folding this mesh over on itself, kind of like rolling it, and I gotta make sure that it's tight. Okay, so I'm gonna clip this onto this eyelet here, and then I'm gonna pull this. So that's just rolled up and clipped on. Sorry, there's like pink flakes coming off of this. I'll just blow on it before I paint anything to get the dust off. Okay, so pull this tight. You might need like a million clips to get it on, but you kind of have to do that, otherwise it won't be straight. It won't be tight. Okay, so rolling, and these are just alligator clips I got on Amazon. If you want the link, I can send it to you, but I think if you just look up alligator clips, you can probably find them. They're sold like by the 25 set or something like that. And then I use binder clips too, which you can just get at Walmart in the office section. That's what I hang up my baits with. Is I use pegboard. If you can see it behind me or in front of me here, I hang everything up on pegboard, and then it's easy. Some people, depending on your setup, if you have a wall in front of you to put pegboard on or not, it's pretty easy. Okay, this mesh is kind of kinked, so it's giving me a hard time. So hang in with me here while I do this. This is the worst part about painting big swim baits, is the stupid mesh is like the worst part. I think anybody would disagree. Because it's like, sometimes you get lucky and it comes out right really fast, but not usually. Usually you have to scoot it around a bunch of times to get it straight. And it is a huge pain in the ass. So let me do one section here. And these are even harder because it's a multi-section, and so it moves a lot more than a glide bait does. So it's even harder to get it straight. Glide baits with two pieces, you only have one joint to worry about, and so it's a little easier. But this one, no, not so much. Okay, so I've gotten to like the second joint here. It's not perfectly straight though. It's pretty close. So that's how far I am now. Okay, I gotta do the back side now. Thank you, Matt. This is like a no hairdo night. Thanks for the stars, Shane. Share the feed if you can, guys. Make sure you like the page if you haven't. Thank you, Justin. The picture is nicer on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I have a funny story. So I got in trouble on Facebook this week. I said something really, really innocent that Facebook did not like. And so I actually got I got my account's restricted. So I made an account for my dog, and I made her an administrator of my business page. And so if you see me post a Sage Message, the golden retriever, that's why. Because I got in trouble. So I can't post in groups for it was like a week. And then I couldn't post period for like 3 days or something like that. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I didn't even mean to do anything wrong. And so anyway, I have a backup, but I have a feeling if I do it again, it's going to be a longer restriction, and I'm going to be a mess. So I can't post any of my photos in like any of the swim bait groups or anything because my dog is not in the swim bait groups. She is. That looks suspicious when your dog tries to request access to the swim bait group. All right. So I'm just toughing it out with restricted access for now. Anyway, as you can imagine, I did not really do anything bad. Facebook's just stupid right now, and they think that everything is bad. So this is really sucking right now, so hang on with me, okay? I'm just going to have to get this as close as I can and call it good because this is tough. It's right here in this one spot where that joint is that it's really hard to get this straight. Wonder if it'd be easier just to use an alligator clip like this. I'm going to really mess up my mesh though. I'm angry right now. This is the worst part, I'm telling you guys. This is why it takes so long. This is like half of the time it takes to paint it is just getting this stupid mesh on. Okay. All right. I'm going to call that good. All right. Now, by the face here, it's not real critical that I get this mesh right because most of the area around the face is going to get covered. I'm going to end up filling it in because I don't want scales on the face. So I'm just going to clip this on like that on the side of the weight bill here. And that should hold it down, but I'm just going to like basically paint over the gill plate anyways at the end. I mean, before I do the face detail. So I just need that to stay down. So that's about as straight as I'm going to get this, I think. If I keep messing with it, I'll be here all night. So that looks pretty good. All right. Now we have this mess. So this is our mess now. So let's blow off all the dust I knocked off of this thing. And then we're going to do some scales. I don't even think I can put this in a... Yeah, I can't put this in a helping hand anymore. So, all right, I left black in here because I'm going to come back to that for the stripes. So I'm going to put some silver in here. This is Aztec silver, Testors Aztec. And we're going to try this. I usually use a different type of paint. So I'm guessing on colors here, but either way, this should work. It's a light silver. I heard they don't make this paint anymore, but I don't know for sure. So it is Testors Aztec, Testors with an O. And you can get it on, last I knew, TCP Global, but I don't know, like I said, if they have it or not. So don't quote me on that. So we're just going to paint straight on. If I don't like the color of this, I might go over it with a white pearl, and I don't know if I do, so. I think it might be too silver for me. So it's pretty silver, and maybe too dark. So I might go over it with white instead. Nah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, so I'm gonna dry this just real quick so that it doesn't smear when I flip it over. That particular type of paint, it dries really fast. It's a little bit different than Createx. It has something else in it, some kind of a compound that is a little bit quicker drying for some reason. And I don't really know what it is, but I thinned it a little bit so that it wouldn't clog my airbrush. And I actually cleaned my airbrushes really well before the show. Not that that means anything, because sometimes they still don't work. But I did actually, I had my I don't have a fine detail brush hooked up right now because I don't really need a fine detail brush for this pattern anyway, but I cracked, one of my nozzles was cracked. I barely noticed. Do I ever paint the multi-joint baits one piece at a time? No, only if the bait maker sends them to me that way. And I have been asked to send them to me that way, but the problem with doing swim baits one piece at a time is that it's hard to line the pattern up. If you're doing, yeah, I mean, you just can't, it's so hard to line the pattern up, like, especially if you're doing a scale pattern, it's going to look all wrong if you do them separately. I don't know how you would even line them up. To me, it seems kind of impossible. So no, is the short answer to your question that I made really long. I don't. I do not. All right, so I'm going to need this black here again, and I'm going to make sure that I have it really well thinned. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit of stripes, and then I'm going to do a little bit of white across the bottom, and then we're going to take the scaling off. Okay, so I have the stencil I used last show, and then I have my other stencil that I made before, and this one has more stripes closer together, and the other one, so this one's more stripes closer together, and this one's further apart with a little bit less detail. So I think I'm going to use this one with the stripes a little further apart, just because it's easier to get the detail in, and this is a longer bait, and that stencil doesn't quite cover it all. So all I'm doing right now, and I'll tilt this down so you guys can see a little better, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and I don't know, on Facebook, can you guys see me okay? Swim baits in the water. It depends which one you want, Stephen. If you have a particular one you want a video of, I can send it to you, but just PM me. But yes, I do have videos of some of them. And a lot of them are, the bait maker will have videos, because these well, this is a bull shad, but like the GFB, and like I posted a hyper shad from Swimbait Garage on the event for this. He would have the video, but I could get it to you. I don't have my own video, but surely the bait maker has like a bazillion videos. And I have of some of the KO swim baits, I do have videos of a lot of those. So you just have to PM me and I can send you what I have. So I'm going to do a light stripe here. So I'm just kind of really being careful with the trigger on this. And I'm just doing a translucent black line. I've tried doing these stripes in different like colors, like golds and stuff, and I don't ever like how it comes out. So I always just do like a really light black and almost like a shadowy black. And that's, to me, looks better than any other way. So yeah, and if you guys, I did post a link to YouTube. If you're having trouble viewing this on Facebook, just pop over to YouTube. And I think it could be a Facebook thing, might be the reason why it's choppy. Maybe it's not my internet connection so much as it is Facebook. So feel free to just pop over to YouTube and you'll be able to see and hear a lot better. The dog thing, yeah. Yeah, everybody's saying that it's a little choppy. So rainbow. Steven, what rainbow? I've done rainbow. I've done rainbow trout on like 10 or 15 different types of swim baits. If you mean the one from today that I posted, I will get you a video from Chris Roth, who is the bait maker, who makes those from Fish and Fox. And I will send it to you if that's what you want. PM me so I know how to reach you, because I can't really write down things right now. So just shoot me a PM and I'll get you a video. All I'm doing right here is just misting a little white over the bottom part of the stripes, like that, just a little white. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the bottom. Well, first I'll do the black and then I'll do that. Can't forget that step. All right, I'm taking this off because I can't do it with that on there and it shouldn't be a problem. So, okay. So I'm just lining this stencil up right over the fin, and then I'll just mist. All right, so then I'll grab the white and I'll just highlight my scales on the bottom section in white. I was just checking the darkness of this, and I wanted this a little darker. Okay. So that looks the same as the last one, so I'm not going to hold it up right now. And then I'm just going to go across the bottom with a little bit of thinned out white. Okay, so make sure it's the same on both sides. So one side, two sides. Okay, so now I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take all this mesh off. I'm going to get this crap out of the way. My desk was something else today. I was working on all these custom orders, and so they're all different. They all take different paint and different stencils, and it was just like tornado central. Then I get really stressed out. Okay, so I just keep a little bucket usually of those right there. I'm not sure what you're looking at, Steven. If you could just PM me. Anthony, I have a chest holder for my iPhone that I can take videos. Chris doesn't fish swim baits much, so I just take videos myself. I have videos of some of the KOs. All right, so this is what it looks like now with the scale pattern on it. Okay, and now we're gonna add some pretty. All right. We have a GoPro, but we don't. I don't know. We don't ever use it. The problem with the GoPro is I don't have the time to edit the videos. I just don't have time. It's so much already, just keeping up with social media and kids, and um, so it's easier just to take them on my iPhone, and then I don't have to sit down at a computer and edit the damn thing and save it and transfer it and all that stuff. It's a lot of time. Okay. So next, I'm just going to do my black lines. So I'm going to take my stencil that I used for the lines, and I'm going to line it up with these lines. That's upside down. So all I'm doing is lining this up with the lines on here. It takes a little bit of maneuvering to get it just right. And then I'll just spray the black spots in the stencil to give it that outline. And I made it kind of choppy because that's really how they look in real life. The lines are not continuous and perfectly straight. Sometimes they are, but not usually. All bluegills are different. That's the cool thing, is there's so many colors and different they look different everywhere and different times of year. Okay, I'm just doing these slowly, so bear with me, everybody. I know it's kind of boring to watch this part, but if I screw it up, then I got like that. Here. So with water-based paints, sometimes if you're really, really quick, you can wipe it off before it dries. That's the unfortunate thing about lacquer. See, I had a splotch and I got it off. Lacquer paint, you can't do that. So if your airbrush decides to let loose on you, it's less of a problem with lacquer. But if you're really fast and you wipe it off, usually you can just get the wet stuff and not mess up your whole paint job. You got to be quick. This has a lot of thinner in it too, and that helps. So it's more forgiving with a little more thinner. And then you got to be careful when you wipe off your tip, your needle tip. It'll all of a sudden start coming out really fast again. So that can cause problems to just cleaning it because you're not used to it coming out fast. And then all of a sudden it starts coming out fast again, and you're like, whoa! There's usually more swearing involved than that, but we'll try and keep this somewhat family friendly tonight. I know sometimes the kiddos watch parents, so I will try my best to not be obscene. Okay. So again, I'll show you what this looks like in a second, okay? All right. So here's what the outline looks like then on that. Okay, so nothing too harsh. Neat, but not harsh. Okay, that's what I go for. I like a clean look, but I don't want it to be, you know, super harsh. If that makes any sense to you guys. I don't know if it does or not, but it does to me. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to try and go a little faster if I can without screwing up. Okay. Line 2 here. You can go make popcorn during this part of the show if you want to. This is this little part. See one here? No. Okay, almost done. Almost. Now this is probably going to go a little faster than like some of my custom paint designs will go, like for swim bait, because I've done this color before, and not on this specific bait, but I've done this color before, so it doesn't take me quite as long to come up with like how to do it and all that stuff. Some of them are like, I'm doing this one that's like a glitter bomb. I'll try and post pictures of it when I'm done, but please don't ever order it, because if I have to do it again, I'm like, it's like, have you ever seen those Normans that have like a really super glittery, it's all glitter? I have to do that on a shell cracker, and that has really tested my abilities. I'm telling you right now. A lot of resin, so it's going to be heavier for sure. So there's the other side. So they look the same. Okay. Success, my friends. So we're going to move on to some color now. And I'm going to do some green on the top. I already cleaned that. So this is leaf green. I used this, I think, last show too. I was doing a very different bluegill color. Everybody complained about how my well, not everybody, but everybody that missed my intro complained about the colors on the bluegill the way they did, but it was a customer request, so don't shoot the custom painter. It might not look realistic, but per the customer, it was extremely effective where they were fishing, and so they wanted another one in that color. Do y'all want to see my bullshad and peacock bass that I just did for I just did a peacock bass. I haven't posted it yet because it's not clear. It's not, the tail's not done yet. It looks pretty sweet though. It's hanging up right here. Of course you want to see it. I'll hold you in suspense for a moment while I finish this. So I'm just going to do a little bit of green right across the top. Okay, not too much. I'm not going to go too crazy. This is supposed to be mostly a light colored natural bluegill. A lighter natural bluegill. Kind of like my pale gill that I have in my store. This will end up looking a lot like that. Okay, it won't be exact because this is obviously a swim bait, and I'm using different paints because I'm doing this in water based. So it'll be just a little different, but very, very close. Okay, so all I did is go across the high sides, just misting a little bit of this leaf green on there. Okay, and then I kind of made sure I got sort of on the top, but I don't have to get too crazy with the paint on top there. I'm going to do a little green on the face here too. So I'm just going to kind of go over the eyeball and the gill plate with this green a little bit. So I'm just kind of shading it very lightly in this color. Okay, so just like that. Okay, and then I'm showing you two different, this is on Facebook and YouTube. If you ever wonder why I'm moving the bait and showing it twice, it's because I stream both at the same time. So I have one camera down low and one up high. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of, I'm thinking what I want to do next here. Let's do the pink purple across the side here. So I'm going to put some balancing clear in here. This is 4030 balancing clear. And then I'm going to put some, this is called Pearl X Interference Violet. Sorry, that's really hard to see on YouTube. They come in bigger cans if you just buy one color. But I bought this in a set of like 12 different Pearl X powder colors. I'm running out of the purple, so eventually I'm going to have to go ahead and buy a can of this. You can get it at art supply stores, like Mr. Art or Dick Blick, or I'm trying to remember. Mr. Art is one that I like. Their prices are really good for like any non like airbrush specific items, because people use these in like resin casts and stuff like that too. These pearl mica powders. So you can find them on Amazon too. They're just a little more expensive, but shipping's included. So it's kind of a wash sometimes. Okay, so I'm just going to spray this across the middle, starting at the tail and just working my way towards the face. And all this is going to do is give it a little bit of a pink, purplish sheen in the sun that you won't probably even be able to see on the video. You might. It's really wet right now, so let me dry it. But it'll show up in the right light. If you ever turn a bluegill's body in your hand like this, you'll see that purplish hue. I'm sure almost all of you know what I'm talking about. And so that's kind of what you're trying to replicate. It's just that little flash. And it also will create some reflectivity in the water probably too. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that at all on the video, but there's a little bit of a pinkish purple hue to it that might not show up on video. Okay, so I'm going to clean this out. When I post pictures of it, you'll see what I'm talking about. The buyer was not sure about that part of it, so I'm not going to go too crazy with that coloring. I don't want to make it, too purple and make it look unrealistic. So now I'm going to go with the orange on the belly. And on this one, we're not going to get too crazy with the belly color because it's supposed to be kind of natural. This is Sunset Yellow. I'm going to start with this and see if it's too yellow. I'll just go over it with a mist of orange. This is a transparent Createx paint. It's called Sunset Yellow. And then the orange that I might end up using is just called Detail Orange. Wicked Detail Orange. Wicked paints, if you ever wonder what's the difference between Wicked paints and Createx paints. So Wicked paint is just a higher end paint that's made by the same exact company. I have no idea what just happened to my hand. I'm not wearing gloves either, which I have no idea why. Wicked paints are made by Createx. They're just a higher end paint than the regular Createx paints. I have got like blobs of, it must have been on the airbrush. I must have spilled it on the airbrush body. My ring is green. Oops. Okay. I just don't want to get it on the bait. I don't care about my hand. So that's the difference between the two. You can see it? Okay. Oh God, Plastisol is so, oh my gosh, wear a mask, please, if you're pouring any plastics. The lure you sent me, I'm not done with it yet. Sorry, Arthur. I'm working on them and I'm just not done yet. They're hanging up here. I have some of the colors on your DT6s, and then your other one's hanging, but I haven't fixed it yet. Okay, now where was I at? Here we go. So I'm just going behind the lip here, and then up above it too. And this is way too yellow, so we're gonna put a little bit. I'll put a little bit of orange in here and go over it. That color kind of builds on itself. I kind of like how it looks when you do yellow and then orange over top, and then you get some of the yellow peeking out past the orange. It's like a blend, kind of. Hang on one second. I gotta grab orange. I forgot to grab it. It'll just take a second. I meant to grab it and I forgot. So here's orange. This is already thinned. This is just Wicked Detail orange. I bought a huge bottle of it, and so I just put it in a separate bottle and thinned it, so I don't have to thin this in myself anymore on the fly. So I'll just go over this without covering it completely with the orange, and then they'll just kind of mix together, and I'll show you what I'm doing here in a second. When I get done spraying it, you'll see. Okay, so see how the yellow kind of sticks out past the orange? I like how that looks. It's kind of I need to do some more of that. Do some shad patterns with different variations of that. Oh, I see. No, I don't. Where am I getting this paint from? Oh, it's on my helping hands. Well, there we are. I put a drop on the helping hands on accident. That's where it's coming from. Nothing's worse than when you stick a handful of paint, wet paint on your bait in the middle of painting it. It's unfortunate. Hello, Austin, George, Chuck. Yeah, I know that connection is not fantastic on Facebook. Like I said, gloves, I know. I won't worry too much about the gloves because I always put a barrier coat on, but fine. He's like, gloves. I always do wear gloves. I don't know what happened to me today. It'll be okay, I promise. All right. Advertisement contract? Hey, I already owe you money, so you're on the free program right now anyways. Ryan I got a bunch of skirts from him, so I'm on the payback program right now with Ryan. Okay. This is Laguna Blue, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white. And then a little bit of reducer. And then I'm going to stir it up. See, I wouldn't have known I had paint on my can if I had gloves on. I would never know. And then I would have gotten green blobs all over it. So this is just a nice light blue with a pearly finish to it now. And so I'm just going to take a mask, which is basically a stencil that just masks off part of it, but not all of it. And we're going to do the gill plate, and it's going to be tricky because this butts right up against the wake bill, but I'm going to figure it out. So I have some curved stencils that I use a lot. And if none of them fit, then I'll just cut something on the fly. So usually what I'll do is just line it up here like so, and then spray along. I'm probably just going to do up to the bill, and then I'll do the top separately, or I'll try to anyways. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. I don't want this to run, so it's a very light color. So I'm just going to dry in between, and I don't want to get this too dark either because I want it to look somewhat natural and not like neon blue. You can make comments on YouTube. There's people making comments on YouTube. I've got Matt, Chuck, George, Austin. It might be hard to find where to make the comments, but you should be able to. So bear with me while I fill this in. I'm kind of freehanding it a little bit because the bill's in the way, and so it's hard to to use a stencil. This is a big enough bait that I can freehand it somewhat, and it's okay. My airbrush just exploded. It's all right. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to figure it out either, Ryan. I've got paint on my neck. Where? Oh, right there. Is that it? No? Where? I have a birthmark on my neck. Don't tell me it's paint. I've got a really dark red birthmark on my the left side of my neck. Oh well, it's just an accessory, Todd. I'm gonna call it my accessory. If I have paint on my face, I got black paint all over my nose the other day. Lacquer too. I was like, great. Okay, that looks pretty good on both sides. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of blue. All right, I'm gonna clean the blue out. I'm done with that now. And then we're gonna do a little bit of white texture on the face. And then I'll do some shading on the top sides with a little bit of brown and then a little bit of black. This already has the eyes in it. They're a different kind of eye, so it's not one that you can just take out and replace. So they just got masked by with some tape. So I won't be putting my own eyeballs on here. So here is what I'm going to use for my face texture. So we're just going to do a little bit of that white spotty looking texture that I do all the time on fish faces because that's what they look like. And I'm going to use my larger modeled stencil. This is, there's two that come in this set. This is the big, and this is small. So the dot sizes are just different. So for this one, I'm going to start with the big, and if I think it needs a little more texture, I'll put some of the smalls and mix it in. So I'll find a smaller, an area with like a little bit smaller dots. They vary a little bit in size. And you can go right over the eyeball because we're going to take the tape off when we're done. Just going to lift that up. That looks pretty good. So that's what that looks like if you can see it at all. sometimes my laptop doesn't have the best picture, so I can't tell how much of this you guys can see on YouTube. It looks all washed out on my laptop. Not a very good laptop, so it could just be my computer. My webcam is really good, but my laptop is not great. Okay, that's a little bit too low, maybe. No. We're gonna do some dot texture by hand, so it'll be okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this back in here, and we're gonna do a little bit of dot texture and then some shading with some brown. I have to clean this white out now, otherwise it'll not come out at all. This stuff dries and clogs brushes really bad if you don't move fast with it. It's already starting to clog, and it's only been in there for like a minute. So this is just a back. See when that bubbles up? I just stuck my finger over the needle and then pulled the trigger, and that makes whatever's in the nozzle bubble back up into the cup, and then you can dump it and just spray it out. And sometimes that'll clear bugs, but not always. What's paint green? Okay. Oh, my birthmark. No, you can't see my birthmark right now. It's on the other side. See? Everybody wonders what that is? Birthmark. I was born with it. I used to, when I was a kid, kids, right? They say whatever this is on their mind. I used to constantly have people come up to me and tell me I was bleeding or that I had paint on my neck. Like, no, sorry. Okay. And it's bigger now. Then it got a lot bigger when I got bigger, and then it got bigger when I had my kids. Is that weird or what? Weird. I absorbed their birthmarks or something. Okay, I'm just mixing up a little bit of the blue, the Laguna blue and the pearl white on a card here. This is just a stencil. I like to use things for multiple uses. So I'm just swirling it around, mixing it up, and then I'm going to dot some of it on top of the area where I did my blue shading. So I'm just going to put a little bit of some dots up here. So this is a dotting tool from Amazon. It's just for nails. So if you look up nail dotting tool, you'll be able to find these tools. You can get probably a set of 6 of them for like $10 or something like that. And it's just for fingernail art, for like nail studios or people who want to decorate their nails with designs and stuff. I don't have time for that, but if I did have time, I think it would be fun, but I do not. I took my daughter to get her nails and toes done. I got a pedicure the other day just to do stuff together. She wanted to do a mommy daughter. And I was like, oh, I would love to have like some pretty nails. And then I remember what I do for a living. And then I'm like, yeah, no. Just never mind. I tried it once, and it was like there was always paint under my fingernails, and like it's not good. And I don't have time to keep up with it. Like I don't have time to go get them done. I don't have time to do it myself. I would always think I should be working. I'll just stick with lure art instead of fingernail art. It's overrated, right? Just tell me it's overrated so that I don't. Every time I get my nails done, I regret it because it either comes right off or I don't have time to redo them, and then I have to like take this gel polish off, and it rips your fingernails off. It's terrible. There's probably like one female watching right now that understands me, and everybody else is like, "What are you talking about?" Okay, I'm just gonna wipe that off with a paper towel, and then sort of throw it in my trash bag, and then we're gonna do some brown. So this is sepia. I have a ginormous bottle of it because I wasn't thinking clearly when I ordered this apparently, and so I'm just putting a couple drops in there, and some reducer. There's pantyhose. I put pantyhose in the cap to filter it. It doesn't work that great. It's worth a try though. And I'm going to stir this for a little while because this stuff is kind of chunky. Oh, you thought I didn't know where my camera was? Yeah. That's funny. It could be a buffering issue. That's very possible. Yeah, I have two cameras running. So I put the link for the YouTube video in the description of my Facebook video so that you can pop over there if you're having problems with the Facebook feed. You can watch it on YouTube. Do I have any Chad chats? I do. I was thinking to show you until I had them all done. I just finished your shell cracker too, like literally just before the show. And I just have to do this frog. That's going to take me so long. And then what was the other thing I have of yours? Is there one more? Or is that it? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Oh, yeah. You wanted one of those Tiny Clash KOs. By the way, the Tiny Clash KOs, they're really nice. They're good quality. So if you ever thought about trying one out, nothing but good feedback on those. The real ones are like $200 and they're very hard to find. And the KOs are really, really, really close to the original. They do go fast. I'm trying to get more. They're expensive. The blanks are expensive. So I wish I could just order like a huge bulk order, but I don't have that kind of cash laying around. So I have to just kind of like order 20 at a time and then sell them and get more. It's hard to know what people are going to buy too. Like I'll paint like 10 trout, and then trout won't be what people want, and then I'll eventually sell them, and then all of a sudden, like a few months later, everybody will be asking me for trout, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? I don't know how to do this. I'm gonna go around the eye socket with a little bit of this brown too. Okay, I'm just kind of highlighting the eye area, trying to get this to not explode. With sepia, if you've ever painted with sepia, you know that you have to go slow with it because it's very transparent and you can overdo it fast, and then you'll have a mess on your hands. Because if you're spraying a lot of air pressure on paint that's not dry, it'll start to spread and like spider everywhere, and it's a mess. So always go with like lighter coats whenever possible. Kind of let it dry as you paint, or give it a quick dry with your hair dryer to make sure that it's dry before you put more down. It'll keep you from making not so happy accidents. I have a little bit of paint buildup on my needle. Hang on one second. So when you're doing shading like that, sometimes your needle gets paint dry on it, and you have to come back and like wipe it a little bit. And then when you come back, then it comes out really fast, so you have to be careful. Okay, so a little bit of shading around the face area and the back. And then I'm going to do some black on the spine. Oh, shoot. I think I have enough paint in here for this. I'm going to do the fin. Well, I still have brown in there. I need to do the fin outline. So I'll do these in brown. And I might not have an exact copy of the fin, but this is like sort of close. So I'm just going to kind of go around it and shade the outline of it. Oh, sweet Todd. Awesome, guys. Oh, awesome, John. So glad you like them. If you want one of those 6-inch Tiny Clash, the color I just did, the transparent one, let me know ASAP because I have to get some more painted. I've had some orders. I ran out of those. They sold out pretty fast, so I wasn't sure if that color was going to sell. So if you want one, let me know ASAP because I'm going to be painting that color again real shortly here, and I can do one for you if you need. There's some of the smaller ones left, but because the people who made the KO for Tiny Clash did a smaller version that's 4.5 inches, and there's still a couple of those in my store, but the bigger ones are sold out. All right, so I just did, just like last show, a little outline of the fin, and then make it darker by where it attaches to the body, so that you have kind of like a little outline of the fin. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side. Yeah, it's pretty in person, isn't it? Some of those color shifting or the iridescent colors, they look so much better in person. They don't show like that in glitter. Glitter is another thing. It doesn't show up at all. You can barely get it to show up on video or on camera, unless I guess maybe if you had a really fancy camera, which I do have a DS. What are they called? DSLR, DSLR. I don't remember. But like I never use it. I know it's so bad. I just don't. Ugh. Sitting down at the computer is my least favorite thing on earth. And if I use that camera, I have to sit down and put it on my computer. I know I could get way better pictures probably if I used it, but I should really bust it out. I always just I take all my pictures in the shade. On the rocks, we have river rocks in our yard. We live in like a sub-desert climate. Not full desert, it's just like, it's like a high mountain desert. So our yard is all rocks, almost except for a little bit in the backyard is grass. So I just take all my pictures in the shade in my backyard. Right behind this door back here behind me, there's just like a little inlet, and I just take them back there. It's quick, it's easy. They look okay. All right. I already have black in here, so I don't need to switch. So I'm just going to do a little bit of black on the spine here, and then we'll do the ear flap. So this is really thin black, so I'm not trying to make it super crazy, but I want to just kind of darken the spine of this. And then a little bit around the eye, just a little bit. I'm just darkening it up a little bit. It still looks brown. It doesn't look black. The eye pops a little bit if you just kind of like shade around the outside of it a little bit. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. So let's do the ear flap. So I have a bunch of stencils that are just cut in like little round stuff. Let me I'll show you guys. Here's the peacock bass I did on this is on a bullshit. This is kind of crazy. So I just finished this one, but I add a little bit of orange to the tail here, and I haven't done that yet. So I haven't posted a photo of this. But this is the big bullshit in peacock bass. I'll let, if the owner is present, I'll let them claim it, but I don't tell unless I'm told I can tell. So I hope you guys like that. And then this is the crappie on a shell cracker. The tail is just black. It's just taped. So there's that up close. I'll show everybody on Facebook too. So that's what that looks like right now. I'll post pictures of the Chad when I get them taken. I'm gonna be mean. All right, let's paint an ear flap. I think probably not the giant size. Well, maybe the giant size, or maybe this size. This is probably the most close. So I'm just gonna go right behind the gilt plate, a little bit above middle, and just slightly diagonal back. So I always paint dark around the curve and then kind of let the shadow fall onto the gilt plate just a little bit. Okay. So like that. So there's that. And then the other side. And then we'll pull off I'll pull off the eyeball tape. And we'll see what the rest looks like with the eyes. All right. So there's our other side. So you can see some of that scale texture. And then here too. So let's pull the eyeball tape off. The unveiling. This one has gold eyes. So bluegill could be red or could be gold, but usually gold. All right. And then of course it's just a hair tail. So once I get this cleared, I'll share a photo, but there she is. Natural bluegill on a bull glide. Hope you guys like it. Hopefully Todd likes it, most importantly. And you guys, thanks for watching. I will see you all next week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see. Oh, yeah, congrats on that, John. That's awesome. Hello, Brad. Sorry, I missed some people's comments. Thanks, you guys. All right. You all have a great night. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.